The German tax return. For a lot of people, just hearing those words can bring on a wave of stress. It feels like this big, complicated chore you have to do every year, but what if we've been looking at it all wrong? Let's dive in and see if we can actually turn this thing from a burden into a real benefit.
So, is this whole yearly ritual really something to worry about? I mean, we build it up in our heads to be this massive, confusing puzzle, right? Something you think you can't possibly solve without hiring some expensive expert. But is that actually the case for most of us?
Well, here's the really good news. For the vast majority of people, it's actually surprisingly uncomplicated. Yeah, that anxiety we all feel, it might just be a little misplaced. The reality is way more manageable than the myth.
Okay, first things first. This whole process is probably way easier than you think. And the main reason it's simpler than its reputation lets on, well, it really comes down to the amazing tools we have available to us today. The real game changer here is the bunch of free online tools out there. Seriously, these platforms are designed to walk you through everything, step by step. It's like a guided interview. They ask you simple questions, you give the answers, and they handle all the complicated forms in the background. That guidance is what makes it so accessible.
So we've established it's easier to do, but what are we actually trying to achieve? A successful tax return isn't just about getting it over with. Nope, it's about accomplishing two very specific things.
And here it is, your two-part mission. Part 1, you've got to report all your income. That's the mandatory, non-negotiable part. But part 2, maximizing all your deductions, that, my friend, is where the real opportunity is. This is the part where you get to be proactive and really change the outcome.
And that brings us to what is maybe the most important part of this whole explainer, deductions. Honestly, understanding this one concept is what transforms your tax return from a boring obligation into a potential financial win.
So what exactly is a deduction? It's pretty simple, actually. It's any expense the government says, okay, you can subtract this from your total income before we figure out your tax. Think about things like work-related travel, courses you took for your job, maybe even that new monitor you had to buy for your home office. Every single euro you can deduct shrinks the pile of money you actually have to pay tax on.
And this quote right here, this just nails the mindset you need. Your goal is to proactively claim as many deductions as possible. See, it's not a passive thing. It's about you actively hunting for every single legitimate expense you can possibly claim.
Let me show you how this works in practice. So, you start with your total income for the year, right? That's the big number. Then you subtract all those deductions you found. The number you're left with is your taxable income, and it's smaller. The crucial thing to get is that the more deductions you find, the smaller that final taxable number gets, which can directly mean you owe less tax. Simple as that.
Which, you guessed it, leads us perfectly into our final section, and it's the one everybody's waiting for, the result of all this work. Let's talk about the refund. This is the big payoff for actually taking the time to do this right.
Because here's the thing. If it turns out you paid more tax throughout the year from your paychecks than you actually owed, all thanks to those deductions you just claimed, well, you get the difference back. This is the absolute best case scenario. The state sends you money.
And at the end of the day, that's what it's all about. This isn't just about dodging a bill. It's about the real possibility of getting a nice, welcome financial boost. It's like a reward for being diligent and for understanding how the system works for you.
So, let me just leave you with this one question. The next time you have to think about your tax return, are you going to see it as just that same old tedious obligation, or are you going to see it for what it truly can be? A genuine opportunity to take control and actually improve your financial situation. The choice is all yours.